Hello everyone, it's time for another edition of Adventures in Careerland. This is a special edition. This is the 100th podcast of this venerable podcast. Woo! This is an amazing thing. We've done 100 interviews with incredible guests and podcast hosts. And the 100th is going to be a humdinger for sure. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a state of the art. It's going to be that podcast. You'll climb a mountain to seek and find. We hand it to you with a special gift and wisdom from our unique guest today. It's going to be an amazing thing. 100 podcasts. I'm your host, Adriano Magnifico. I'm the career lead from the Riel Arts and Technology Center. That's a very cool place where high school students can choose to step off the beaten path of the academic programming and take things like automotive technology, broadcast media, electrical trades, aesthetics, hairstyling, information systems. You get it. It's a place where you can start developing real skills, where the academic program is an awesome thing to go to university, sometimes some Red River programming. This is a great place for you to start developing your skills and get a real sense of who you are, what's important to you, what kind of skills you have, what kind of skills you want to acquire. And most importantly, who values those skills when you leave the high school experience. That's what the Arts and Technology Center is all about. So really cool program for students to think about and to choose. And many choose. There's 200 kids in this program. So we have lots of high school students, grade 11 and 12 students who choose from their high school curricula to come over here for a couple of semesters. And there's a number of post-secondary students who come from different parts of the world, like China and Vietnam and India, to come and start creating their life in Canada and developing skills and getting a cool education at the same time. I am, as usual, blessed with two co-hosts from two of these programs, and one is from the Broadcast Media program, and we're in the Broadcast Media podcast studio for this 100th edition. And we're with one of those broadcast media students, Andre Poirier. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. My lips may be chapped, but that has not stopped me from getting here and doing everything I do in my mornings.
So you're chapping your lips in the morning?
Yep, I forgot my chapsticks, so.
Okay, but you had a big night last night, didn't you, in the broadcast media program? Tell me about it.
So we were doing a MHS AA volleyball high school championships, quad A. We're doing streams for that the whole night.
Where?
At IGAC.
What's that?
The investors group.
Sounds like you just cleared your throat.
IGAC. No, at the U of M, the gym there. And
the gym there.
The gym.
Do you mean the investors group sports complex thing?
Yes.
At the University of Manitoba?
Yes.
Okay.
And we were there from 12 in the afternoon to 12 in the morning, getting all of our stuff set up, streaming it, getting interviews with people. A lot of work got put into it, and it's our last broadcast, so everybody got a little bit emotional.
Really?
But, oh, yeah.
So what's the effect of doing that kind of work?
You really get connected with your whole team, right? You're working with them, and you have to troubleshoot together, and you make the best connections when you try to figure out a problem and solve that problem with your peers. And that's what's really connected my whole class together. So it's kind of a bit sad to see our last broadcast go like that, but it was a good one to end off with.
Probably the best work you guys did. That's what I heard.
Oh, it
your
was.
Best work.
Definitely.
And so is there a message about practicing and getting better and better?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we all kept our same jobs throughout the 3 nights we were doing the broadcasts, and we all improved in some way or another. Some of us may have been somewhat gifted at the beginning, but there's always improvement, and no matter who was doing it, right?
That's awesome, man. Hey, and we're also with the Applied Business Management Program rep here. That is Ashley K. Kabaltikan.
Yes,
Hello,
hi. We're doing good.
You just put on a major event as well.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Okay, last Saturday we had our winter market and festival. So I mentioned that last episode as well. We had vendors, we had kids activities, and there even was Santa. And we're so happy that a lot of kids went in and they actually took pictures with Santa. So.
And I missed it. I missed Santa.
Yeah, you missed Santa.
I missed Santa.
Grace was there as well, and she had lots of fun.
Dressed up as an elf.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a few of the little Santas kicking around. You can find another one at any mall. Don't worry about that.
It's okay. We have Adrian.
Although-
Mr. Magnifico for
You're gonna
that.
go down.
That's right. Don't worry about that. In fact, I'm playing Santa.
Yeah.
Not that Santa plays. We're going to see Santa at the Norwood Community Club.
Yep.
And I have a vested interest in being there.
Nice.
And you're looking for elves, right?
I'm looking for 2 elves. Are any of you interested?
I think Katie might be interested.
I thought Andre would be interested.
Okay. Anyway, this is the 100th. That's amazing, though. Hey, listen, in the 100th edition, 2 students who worked on 2 great projects. So when you think about your choice to come to this space, are those the kinds of projects, the reason why you chose these programs?
I could say so, yeah. Definitely because I've never had experiences with event planning. Even though it was kind of like still business related, because we still had to manage all the finances and stuff. I could say that when I came here, I didn't expect that, but I'm so happy that I was able to experience that in some way or another. Yeah.
To me, I was kind of just like, oh, broadcast media, do a couple little films and stuff, little music videos. Why not? That sounds kind of fun. I get here and I'm blown away by all the stuff we do and all the equipment we have.
And you guys aren't finished. Like, you're off to an
No,
internship tomorrow.
exactly.
Where are you off to tomorrow?
Off to 91 en vol for more podcasting stuff.
En vol.
En vol.
C'est français?
Ah oui, c'est le français?
Oh, je suis très heureux de faire votre connaissance, monsieur.
Moi aussi, monsieur,
Okay.
moi aussi.
Those are my only words.
I couldn't understand any French, but like, okay, yeah.
I don't even know what I said. I think I asked him, would you like a shoe with cheese?
Oh,
I think that's what I asked her. I'm not sure.
a shoe with cheese.
Yeah, I
It's okay.
don't know. And so,
It's close enough.
where are you going for an internship? Or you're working on it? You guys are still
Yep,
working on it?
we are working on our internship for January. So we're sending a lot of internship emails. We're trying to visit some of our internship as well. So yeah, it's going good.
And what are you gravitating towards? What would you like to find?
I'm gravitating towards right now either exploring how coffee shops work, so like how are they managed and stuff, but also more on marketing marketing in a like corporate setting. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So when we had Zaina on here, you were super interested. Because she was one of our previous guests with 6P
Oh,
Marketing.
I see. When I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You weren't here for that one. were you?
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
you would have loved her.
Yeah, I think I was in a trip.
Yeah, I think you went to see Taylor Swift.
Yes, I did.
So you actually missed the podcast that would have changed your life.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope Taylor Swift changed your life. Okay?
Yeah, I think she
Okay.
did.
All right, now are you still a Swiftie after that?
Yes, for sure. I think it did like encourage me a lot because there were some of her songs that she performed that actually like helped me through some situations in life, and I was happy to hear them live. So yeah, she was very inspiring.
Well, you both are inspiring, but we're going to be inspired by someone else.
Yeah,
We have
I
a
heard.
guest here today who is an old friend, an old friend from way back, and he's always been just a fountain of energy and excitement whenever he connected with my kids and all the kids of the neighborhood. I'm talking about Jake Chénier, children's entertainer, Juno-nominated performer. Jake, how are you?
I'm
boy.
doing very well. How are you?
Well, I'm always good. And these two are just ready to go. So,
Let's do this.
Let's
Jake,
do it.
tell us about you when you started out. You're a children's entertainer. You are in a high school system at Louis Riel Collegiate before it became Collège Louis Riel. So we're going back a way. And Jake and I go back a few years. So just for the record. You're in high school. You're thinking about, what should I do with my life? How does the high school system churn out a children's entertainer?
Well, it didn't start that way.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I would play my guitar in the hallway. I was very quiet in high school. I started children's music probably about almost 10 years after high school. Trying to think of, well, maybe not 10, maybe 5, 24, about 24, yeah. And basically I began as a fellow who wanted to learn folk songs and play at coffee houses and parties and little events like that. And it just kind of blossomed to a point where I'd gone to Red River. I took graphic arts. I was going to be a graphic artist. And one of the students in my class went over to her place to visit with her sister and her niece and two nieces. And we were sitting out in a screened porch. And it was this amazing thunder and lightning storm. I can remember the moment that this happened. And somebody said, "Hey, do you know any kids songs?" And at that point, I did not. The only thing I knew was House at Pooh Corner by Kenny Loggins. So I played that, and then I thought, in that moment, I should learn some more kids songs. And I had been playing since I was 11, so I'd already been playing for a dozen years or so. And it just kind of blossomed from there.
So are you saying a thunderstorm, an act of God, inspired you to become a children's entertainer?
Whatever you want to believe. Thor was speaking to me, perhaps.
Maybe. Well, that's kind of amazing because there are touchstones. We always ask in these podcasts, were there any moments that kind of changed? I mean, you just happened upon it. You're at a place hanging out. Someone says, let's play. Someone taps you on the shoulder. We always talk about the tap on the shoulder. Someone taps you on the shoulder. Can you play a children's song? And you play a hybrid Kenny Loggins kind of children's. Is that a real children's song?
Yes, it is actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is because it's about Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
Oh.
And he put it on a children's album, so.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Was that Pooh speaking to me?
Oh, bother. I just wanted some honey.
Brother. Okay, yeah, we'll be cutting that out later.
No, not the Pooh impersonation.
Oh no, don't cut me out.
Listen, I don't want to pull my ear on you, but you gotta be quiet now, okay? Pooh, nobody cares about your poo.
I'm
But
sorry.
this could be a moment for you because you might all of a
I
sudden.
could be an impressionist.
Exactly.
It's as simple as
I do
that.
like impressions though.
I know somebody who does that for a living, and it's got to start somewhere. So maybe this moment you're.
Oh, great. Jake
Maybe.
turns this into a beautiful moment for you.
Just the minute it goes like, stop, don't follow your dreams.
And that's what he's all about, though.
Exactly.
So
I like that.
You become a children's entertainer, and you're kind of you're singing adult contemporary music, like when you say folk music, and you're into that. So in high school, are you literally sitting in a hallway playing guitar in the hallways?
Absolutely.
And of course, what's happening in the high school system? Are the principal coming by, get that thing out of here and get back to math class? Or what's going on?
No. Oh, this is in between classes, or I had
Okay.
a spare and nothing to do kind of thing. So
Okay, so was there a guitar program, or is this just something you loved? You picked it up and you started playing?
when I was 11 years old, I went to a summer camp, and one of the counselors had a guitar, so she let me kind of pick it up and pick the little strings. Once I kind of got a hang of it, and came home after that, found my sister had a guitar hidden away in the closet, dug it up, started to play every day, drove her crazy. You can only hear Stairway to Heaven so often.
Oh no, not me, my friend.
For Wonderwall.
Well, Wonderwall wasn't around at that point, but these are songs that most guitar. You walk into La McQuaid Music Store, and I think there's a sign that says "No Stairway to Heaven."
Right on.
That's what I've always heard as well.
Yeah. Well, what are some songs that personally connected to you that you could say that were some of like the inspirations for you as an artist, as a children's entertainer?
Oh, okay. Well, because I had been playing adult music for a number of years, I guess I did a little research, and I looked into children's music and performers in Manitoba, and there were more in Manitoba than anywhere else. Al Simmons, Fred Penner, Heather Bishop, the list goes on, Easy Teas. So I looked into what kind of music, Raffi, what kind of music they were playing, and put together a little bit of a songbook, and then went into into the University of Winnipeg daycare. At that point, a mutual friend of ours, Karen Waters, was working there, and she invited me in. Sat down with my little binder on the floor. 7 or 8 kids sat around me, and I played a bunch of these little tunes. Baby Beluga, Raffi.
I love that song.
I love Raffi. Like Raffi was one. It was you and Raffi we were listening to. Occasionally that Fred Penner guy too. But my kids were listening to you and Raffi all the time, and those were the guys. You kind of have that. Was Raffi the big inspiration for you? Or who was the big one?
Yeah, I'd probably say Raffi. Sharon Lois and Brahm were another.
Oh, yeah, of
I mean,
course.
these were popular, you know, if anybody was listening to children's music. And the thing back then is there wasn't a lot of competition for the entertainment dollar. And so what that means is you're a parent, you've got children, you're taking them to the Children's Festival, you're taking them to events where they have live performances. Nobody had a cell phone really, so it was very simple. You didn't have the competition of video games, screen time, all these things. So music was just a guy up there with the guitar singing songs, getting you to sing along, was pretty special. Nowadays, if you don't keep them entertained, if you lose them for a few seconds, they're off. You know?
That's true.
So
it's sad.
Have you actually noticed that there's a difference
Absolutely.
in the attention span of the kids?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
I've seen it big time.
So what have you had to do as a performer? Do you have to, when you see that, does your voice get a little louder? Do you start juggling? Is there a monkey you're bringing up beside you that's playing? Like what do you do?
Well, I mean, you try to make every show. I mean, my life was building a 1 hour show, 45-minute to an hour show. So basically, you've got the beginning, you've got the middle, and you've got the end, and you create kind of a roller coaster ride. You've got numbers where they could sing along. You've got songs where they can get up and dance, do actions. We got the climax. Excuse me. When you have the musical instruments come out, and you hand out some instruments to students or kids that come up onto the stage, and they play along with one of my songs. And so you really try to keep them involved, and I think that's a big part, as opposed to a lot of adult entertainment. You're there to listen. You're sitting down, you're looking forward, you're listening to the band.
So if you never got that tap on your shoulder of playing kids songs, where do you think you'd be right now if you weren't playing kids songs?
Wow. That's a really good question.
Would you be an accountant?
Would you be an
not be an
office
accountant.
job, typing
Yeah,
away at a
office
computer?
Well, I've worked a number of gigs. I was a school photographer. I worked for National School Services. So I go into schools, elementary schools, and do your regular school day photographs. So I did that for a couple of years. I also worked in the paint and wallpaper department at a store called Woolworth. What else did I do? Those were, I think, the main gigs. So I'd maybe be a photographer. I love being creative.
Absolutely.
I like working with wood as well. So I like doing some woodworking.
You'd have like the huge bear head, wooden mantles, stuff like that. You'd make little tables.
I don't know if I'd have any bear heads, but yeah, I like the latest creation I made is a ski chair. So it's a wheelchair with downhill skis that attach to the chair, so that you can take someone who's unable to go out in the snow, take them for a walk.
I like that.
That's brilliant.
That's really, I love
that's
that.
actually a good idea. Yeah.
And also, if they wanted to go down a little hill.
Yeah.
Well, when I brought the skis in to get them waxed, I told the guys there, this is for a wheelchair, and they looked at me thinking, "What? You're just going to push somebody down the slope?"
Oh yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, sounds like a Seinfeld episode. But,
Yeah.
hey, I'm interested because I've known you and I've kind of witnessed some of your creative energy on stage. But you're doing a lot of covers. And you're grabbing some of the best tunes from some of the best people and giving them your style and your flair. You started making your own albums though. So what's a creative, and there was a point where you said, I got to start doing my own stuff, right? So when did that happen? And tell us a bit about that creative process. Because you had to go, you took off to different places to write these albums, one of which was nominated for a Juno, right? So talk a bit about that. When did you understand, hey, I've got to start writing my own stuff to keep up with the Raffis and the Sharon Lois and Brahms of the world and stuff?
Yeah, I think I started by writing adult tunes, a little more mature content. And then when I started playing music for children, I realized that I should probably have my own songs. I would run away in the winter time. I would try not to work from December till, say, March. And I'd escape to somewhere tropical. And I'd sit and I'd play my guitar all day. And, by the sea in a little thatched roof hut. And I'd come up with these songs and decided at some point it was time to make an album. So I applied for some funding and I did Dancing with the Dinosaurs.
Mm.
And you made Dancing for the Dinosaurs pretty much on a beach in Mexico, didn't you?
Well, I wrote some of the songs there probably, but I didn't record it there. No, I recorded in Winnipeg.
No, but you got all your inspiration. So what's so inspiring about the tropical paradises you went out to create these albums?
I think when you get away from your regular 9 to 5, you get into a space that's obviously, if you're sitting with your feet in the sand in the tropical environment, the pace of life is slower, and you can also dedicate yourself. So I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have any real connections, and I was able to really focus and get to a certain. After spending a month and a half, 2 months by the sea, you reach at least I did reach a certain plateau where you just start to tap into almost a different energy level that compared to what you're used to when you've got a 9 to 5 and you've got all these commitments and things you have to do. There I didn't have a schedule at all, so I would just spend my days writing and just letting things flow
and popping in and out of the writing, I suspect, right? Where you're leaving something, going off and coming back to it without unfettered, without any of the pieces of the world that you have to deal with back in Winnipeg.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also I would go out snorkeling and hang out and
of course. Was it nature that inspired you?
A big part of it for sure.
Because
yes.
when I listen to all your music, most of it's about, not most, but a lot of it's about me. In fact, one of your albums is a sunny something. What's it called?
Walking in the Sun.
Walking in the Sun,
yeah.
Which is all about nature to me. It's like it's a calypso-y kind of album, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting that one because we played those ones. We played Dancing with the Dinosaurs, which was the big one for my kids, but the other one was about the sun, a day in the sun, and there was lots of nature. How did nature inspire you?
Well, I've had so many experiences with swimming with tropical fish. Climbed a volcano when I was in Guatemala a couple times. Spent the night.
Was it burning?
It was erupting every 5 minutes. It would erupt.
Come on, and you were on the side?
No, I was on a mountain that was connected to it. Unfortunately, the wind was blowing the other way, so we were safe. But we stayed up all night, up in the clouds, watching this volcano erupt. And after spending the night there, that inspired that song. And then, spent some time with monkeys, and that inspired another song.
Did you play your guitar for the monkeys?
At that point, I think I was traveling with a charango, which is a Latin instrument, a little Peruvian instrument. So did I play for the monkeys? Yeah, they might have heard me play.
Well,
that's dating us, my friend. That's dating us.
well,
Anyway.
Well, speaking from inspiration, we're hearing a lot more about nature, but your next album from Walking in the Sun, I believe, is about food. Could you talk more about that?
Oh, are you referring to Pizza Paradise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's right. Pizza Paradise. Of course.
Pizza
of
Paradise.
Yeah, that one actually came before Walking in the Sun.
Oh, I see.
And there's some food in there, some pizza and some banana. Yeah. A couple pizza songs. I like to eat. I don't know about you guys.
I love eating.
Yeah.
Do you think that was something that like really connected with your audience as well?
The pizza did,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, who doesn't like pizza, right?
Are these like educational songs to like try and teach kids about healthy eating, or is it just like a entertaining kind of thing, you know?
I think it was more entertaining. Not all of them, but I think the bottom line is if you can bring joy and happiness, and if there is a message in there as well, that's great. And a lot of my songs are, some of my songs, like World, 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 that's a song about recycling, taking care of our earth. Just a piece of garbage is, well, basically garbage that speaks about their life in the street. And so, yeah, there's definitely there's room for education.
It's more like a message to tell kids instead of like trying to teach them 1 + 1 or something, right?
Yeah, you don't want me teaching you math. No.
You know what? It's funny you say that, Jake, because the way you're talking about getting this, breaking your hour-long set, like a class, into components and having them do hands-on things, having them listen, having them play, that's what a great teacher does. And there aren't enough great teachers. I suspect, did you ever think of, I wonder if I could be a teacher?
Yes, very quickly thought and lost that thought.
I'm only saying because you seem to have that knack of, I have to engage these people for an hour. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do. And do you remember teachers in your own life who did that? And you remember ones who didn't? And unfortunately, we often remember the ones who didn't first, right? About holy smokes. And there's that one teacher. Sometimes there's a guiding light. Was there a teacher in your life that had a big influence on you?
Yeah, I think there were a few, but I think one that I really enjoyed, Russ Bodner, when I was in grade 12. He was, at one point, he was the road manager for the Guess Who.
Oh.
So he would tell us stories about life on the road with the rock band, and he was fun. He really made things entertaining. So I think that really made a difference. I think if you can combine education with music, it's a vehicle that really, connects.
And your wife is a musical artist.
Well,
she
is a teacher. Yes, she was. She's retired, but she was a music teacher.
Big influence?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's been very helpful in my career, in the way I approach music, and from finding the right key that everyone can sing in. She doesn't like to get up in front of an audience, but she's great with kids in a classroom. She's very they liked her a lot. So did I. She actually, I got her to bring her students into this recording studio for my first album.
Yeah.
No, for my second album.
So do you have your own studio in your house?
I've got a space where I practice, but lately my practice space has been upstairs in the light, looking out the window, enjoying that instead of locking myself in the basement.
So are you thinking down the road, I gotta make some new fresh songs? Do you still go out and entertain the kids if you can? Like what do you do now? Like what are you moving towards?
Well, yes, I've been playing music full time for almost 40 years.
Yes.
So I'm at a stage in my life where I'm looking at what the next step is. What do I want to do as far as where to put my energy?
I think you'd be a hit in the senior centers.
Well, I've been playing music. Yeah, well, I've been playing music for seniors for about 12 years now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I only say that, I know you guys are laughing at me, these Gen Zs. We are a couple of boomers, okay? My dad was in a senior center, and when a person like Jake came in, he was the hit of the place. Unbelievable. Do you ever feel that way when you come into these spaces?
I've had so many amazing experiences with seniors, playing music for seniors. They come from a time where just to have a fellow with a guitar and a voice and sing and get them to sing along, that's kind of their thing. That's what they appreciate. And they're a little more on my energy level these days, a little more than the kids. But I've had experiences where I've gone into hospitals and care homes and played, and seniors sing along, and then a nurse will come up to me afterwards and say, that woman doesn't ever speak, and she was singing all the words to your songs. So
Wow.
you're tapping into a history that's living inside. There's a great documentary called Alive Inside, where this individual goes to families and says, what kind of music does your parent listen to, or did they listen to? So they'd put together a collection of songs, put on what they called an iPod, and give it to the seniors, and they kind of came alive listening to all these songs that they grew up with. And these were people who were, dealing with dementia, Alzheimer's. And so there's a huge potential for breaking through using music.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I love it. It's such a rewarding.
Well, there's something about the magic of music, right? Like for me, you're talking about in that sample of people who are having trouble connecting back to the world, suddenly finding connection with the music. That's pretty powerful. It's just something about that magic of music that can transport you and take you back, and that must be what you feel every time you're in a concert. There's something magical going on here. Do you feel that way?
I've got one of the best jobs ever.
Of course.
Yeah, just because when I'm playing, when I'm working, I'm either at a party, or I'm at a wedding, or I'm at a celebration, or I'm at a Christmas gathering. So it's always, I shouldn't say always, because I have played funerals, but it's always an important part of the event, and it can really change a mood, by introducing songs that all of a sudden the energy level changes.
And that's kind of cool, because you mentioned, we were chatting before the podcast, that you think, and your wife influenced you on this, that every child has a voice. And when you can connect to a voice, it's always there. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it gets diminished. But if you can tap into that, that's pretty powerful stuff. Like you're engaging a person in a life, in a space, and a history, and a potential that can reinvigorate them, even for the shortest time. That's got to be, when you leave an event, you must be walking on air. Am I nuts? Or
No, absolutely. I look forward to absolutely every performance, every chance to engage an audience and to be part of, their life for an hour, and connect and just bring them to a different plateau. And sometimes people are feeling kind of low, a little depressed maybe. You're sitting in a care home for days on end and not a lot of activities maybe. And then somebody comes along and brightens your day. I get so many great comments from seniors who have told me, I was feeling really low, but now I feel much better. So what more do you want from a job, I think?
That's wonderful.
I think so.
Yeah.
So are you still performing here and there? That's what I was trying to get at a bit
Yeah.
earlier. You're still, you're still moving around?
I've got a show tomorrow morning, or tomorrow
Oh,
afternoon.
where?
I am at the Charleswood Care Home. So they're having a little Christmas gathering there. So I'm going to go and sing some Christmas songs. And
Oh, that's awesome. So,
And, yeah,
so
I-
you've got the Michael Bublé Christmas album?
I've listened to Michael. Michael's got some great
No, but
renditions.
I mean that collection of songs, and that where
Yeah, for
might
sure.
it might be time for your Christmas album. This could be the swan song, the Christmas album. What do you think?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
it's,
not. I don't know.
I've done 4 albums and I've enjoyed them, but my energy level was a lot better back then. As far as, because it's such an emotional, mental, physical roller coaster ride to go into a studio and coordinate all the musicians, pick the songs, and record till all hours of the night, which I can't do anymore. And so it takes a lot of energy, and yeah, I think I'm happy I did my 4 recordings, but I'm not feeling the need. Also financially, it's it's quite a commitment. It's a little easier these days with the technology that we have. You can go do it in your home.
Well, in this broadcast media space,
We have ourselves a little studio,
Right.
Little booths where you can
soundproof
record.
studios and all that kind of thing.
So you're saying I should come in here and do a Christmas album?
I'm saying,
Ooh,
you should
yeah.
come in here and do the Christmas album.
We should do negotiations after
Okay.
this.
Good fun. But it must be cool to think about your life and the influence you've had on people. Just talk about that a bit, about how fulfilling that must be to be a performer. Because there's a lot of people who perform and try and don't get to where you've gotten, right? I think you've reached kind of a space where you're a Juno nominee, where you've had some great success, where you were sought after entertainer for children. I saw that in action. I was there. Sometimes I was even in spaces, and you asked me to help sometime. I don't know if you remember about, can you move my speaker over here? This kid's trying to climb on it. Like that kind of stuff. I distinctly remember that in a sandbox, where you set up in a sandbox in a playground, and kids were all around the sandbox. Like the stage was a square. So you may have even, I don't know, inaugurated the round in those days. And you were saying to me, hey, help me, keep these kids off of these wires and things. Yeah, do you remember those days?
Oh, I remember that moment. Absolutely. You learn from these experiences.
Yeah.
And I've had a number of experiences where I will say afterwards, I'm never going to do that again.
And then you do it next week.
No.
And then you go by a pool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, I've had that experience too.
But you've been by a pool. You actually played at a pool. And when you're a performer and they say, we want you to perform here, you're not going, no, I'm Taylor Swift. I only perform in giant
Like venues,
theaters
stages.
with 20,000 people. You're going to say, okay, I'll play there. And so you've got your electrical stuff hooked up beside the pool, and kids are splashing.
Yes.
And so at any moment, your life is about to end.
Well, I'm thinking, I've got to make better decisions. And so I should have set up a little further from the pool.
Yeah.
That would have been a smart thing.
I'm just imagining you playing a song and you're tearing up. Oh, is it a sad song? No, I just don't want to get splashed and then electrocuted.
Well, actually, and I was probably, or I might have been wireless at that point.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm battery operated, my guitar, and my vocal is battery operated. So if I would fall into the pool or get wet, it wouldn't be too bad of a shock.
No,
But still,
Yeah, they'd be able to resuscitate.
It was still dangerous.
it'd be a little bit of breaking.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
just break.
yeah.
Anyway, Jake, this is a lot of fun.
I love this.
You're an insightful, creative entity that's made the world a better place. And now we're going to find out even a little bit more about you.
Cue the music.
Okay, so we're going to be doing something called quick cues. So I'll be just asking a few questions, like this or that questions, and you just have to answer them really fast. That's why it's called quick cues.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
No, but let's go.
Okay. Writing music or performing live?
Performing live.
Solo performances or having a band with you?
Solo.
Touring locally or internationally?
Locally.
Teaching music or entertaining?
Entertaining.
Singing in English or French?
Bilingual.
Ooh, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Reptiles or mammals?
Oh, wow. Reptiles.
Attending a concert or performing in a concert?
Oh, probably performing.
Pizza Paradise or Pizza My Heart's Delight?
Pizza Paradise.
And lastly, what's your favorite podcast?
This one.
We can post it now.
Now, congratulations. You've won a dream home and an opportunity to get your podcast uploaded to that
In
thing
our
we call the
100th
internet.
episode.
For the 100th episode, too.
Yeah,
And this
exactly.
is the 100th episode. How cool is that, everybody?
I love it.
I love it too.
This is
And
wonderful.
I'm super proud that you two are a part of it. Ashley
Me too, I'm
and
so
Andre.
grateful.
And Jake,
I don't think we could have had a better
we go back
guest.
a few years.
For our 100th episode, yes,
don't
I
think we could have had a
agree.
better one.
Jake, and I think Tooper's going to be very jealous. I'll make sure I send this to him when it's ready, and so he can listen to our extraordinary conversation. And Jake, you've been just this incredible entity of imagination and creativity. And I've seen the looks on the children's faces when you perform, because I was around you when you were doing some of that in the heyday of some of those big albums that you were creating and writing. And I really believe when you started writing your own stuff, because I used to see you in the lounges, remember? When you were singing, "Tonight I'm gonna break away," the Poco stuff and all those kinds of things. And you were really good then. But when you found your niche, and I don't know what drives a person to find what they're meant to do, but I have the feeling that the right tap on the shoulder, the moments when you're choosing this and seeing that and gravitating to that, you found exactly what you were meant to do. I really feel that way, because when I see the looks in those kids' eyes, boy, it was magic. I always felt like when you were there, you were magic. And I was happy to be in your sandbox, pushing those speakers around and taking care of those wires, and keeping those kids off you. But it was always an adventure. Your life has been an adventure. And I think when students hear this podcast, I have the feeling they're going to say, how can I turn my life into an adventure like Jake's? So congratulations, sir. You're an inspiration. If you were to say something, you're in a grade 11 class, and students are looking at you, and you're going to impart some profound wisdom to them, what would you say to them?
Well, I would probably say follow your heart. I know it's kind of a cliche, but I mean, if you go through life doing something that's not bringing happiness to you, or not bringing happiness to others, or serving some sort of purpose, maybe you're not going to be as fulfilled. I think it's important to follow your dreams, go with the flow, try lots of different things. I mean, I was able to get into children's music by going to Red River College, by going to University of Winnipeg for a year. So I've tried a lot of different things, and until I found that it was music that was kind of guiding me and bringing me on the path that I would follow for over 40 years.
That's great advice. That's great advice, sir. What are you thinking, Ashley? What are you thinking, Andre?
Yeah, I think
What's your adventure going to look like?
that is a hard thing.
It takes time. The adventure didn't come overnight.
No, and there's lots of ups and downs.
Yes.
I mean, it's a business. You know, music is a business. You have to treat it. You have to deal with all the scheduling and the taxes and all the things that go along with it. But when you're on the stage and you're playing music, that 1 hour of activity, it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, you're in your element.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, I just kind of got reminded of Taylor Swift, because like she's performing for 3 hours, and I just can't imagine like how much she loves her job, you know?
And how much she prepares.
Yeah, exactly.
And the work that goes into it. And your preparation. You didn't even talk about really how much preparation goes into an hour show.
Yeah.
It looks like you're just up there and it's flying out of you. How long must you prepare to do that? It's amazing.
Well, I try to practice every day. I try to learn new songs every day. So yeah, there's definitely preparation that goes into that 1 hour. So when people say, wow, you get paid what for doing an hour? It's like, well, I've got, 30 or 40 years of rehearsing.
That's true.
So that's part of it.
That's nice.
Hey everyone, Jake, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Wonderful to have you.
Awesome. For the 100th?
So glad.
Oh my gosh.
100th.
It's incredible.
100.
Want to thank the producers for the 100th. It's Achilles, who's in there today.
Thank you.
Way to go, Achilles. Appreciate your work. We also have, and a nice thank you from him. That's a good thing. We have Chin Kai Chang, who's not on this one, and Grace Ross, who's also one of the producers, are not responsible for this one, but well done to our producing team. You'll find this on your favorite podcast platform, and we like to play a little bit on social media, so check out our Instagram and see what's up. We always like to give you a heads up about what the upcoming podcast is. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 100th podcast, the episode of Adventures in Careerland, is in the books.